Hey everyone, you're listening to the Dallas Parlay. On today's show, we obviously know what the Cowboys are going to do at the quarterback position, but are we better off with Cooper Rush, or maybe should we have just given that guy we traded for, Trey Lance, a shot? Also, we talk Mavs 8 games into the season. How are they doing? And of course, we have to hear what Chaz and Ryan think about the Dallas Stars and the beginning of their season as well. Stay tuned in, hear what us regular fans are talking about, what we think. Stick with us, Dallas Parlay. Hey guys, welcome to Dallas Parlay. You got to hear an awesome little introduction just now. Chaz and Ryan haven't got to hear it yet, so tough luck. But you're tuning into us. You got your boy Brandon here, and we got Chaz and Ryan. I don't even know how to introduce y'all anymore because you just keep getting on to me, so I'm just flustered. So we got Chaz. That's where
Here we
you
are.
can say, yeah, okay, there we go. And we got Mr. Aura, Mr. Ryan here.
We promised we weren't going to do that.
Oh well. Anyway, we're here. We got the boys. It's been a week for me personally. Had to put a dog down, so a little delay in doing our normal once a week podcast, which we still I think made. Has it been 2 weeks? Do you remember? Maybe a week and a half.
I think so.
I don't know. Anyways, little delay, so now we're here. Obviously, Cowboys lost. We'll talk about them first. We'll get into some Mavs. We'll get into some Stars. But first off, the Dallas Cowboys, who are horrendous and only got worse. So there you have it. What do you think?
Well, what else needs to be said? I mean, it's just the same story, different week. It's getting easier, I guess. On a personal level, it's easier to do these podcasts and not have to be so emotional about it. I'd rather just talk about it at this point than sit here and rant and bitch and all that. But yeah, not much positivity, man. I mean, if you add injuries into it, it's probably more salt in the wound than anything. But it is what it is, man. That's the track this train's on this year. So here we go.
Yeah, I think that's kind of what I'm thinking. I mean, I'm over the season already. I mean, I think everybody is. I think we're kind of all thinking. I don't know if everybody's thinking team tank or what.
Gosh.
I don't know if they're going to put Dak on the IR, if he's going to try to come back at some time this season. But I don't see a reason why he needs to be coming back for anything. To be honest, I mean, I don't know what you guys think. I think they were talking. Maybe they would start. Well, obviously Cooper Rush is going to start, but kind of see what we can get out of the other, the kid before we. I don't know what we do with him. I mean,
They won't.
it's just kind of been a scrambled.
They won't. The most frustrating thing about the Cowboys is the perfect scenario to put Trey Lance in. And are they going to do it? Hell to the no.
I don't see why not. I mean, they should though, right?
Of course they should. If nothing else, build his
Dude.
capital and get him out of here. Trade him somewhere else. My
That's
God.
right. But we
Dude,
won't
that's
do
the
it.
perfect. So y'all didn't get to hear the intro. I literally talk about that in the intro. It's like exactly what y'all just
Oh, really?
put it to fruition there. Them two didn't know. I did the intro just now, actually, like 5 minutes ago on my own. But that is literally what I said. Obviously, we know what the Cowboys are doing, but should they? So it sounds like both of y'all are on the yes, start Trey Lance.
I mean, we're looking at I guess we can all understand that. So we know now that Dalvin Cook really wasn't the answer for the running back. Although Rico Dowdle hasn't looked bad since he came back from missing a game or two. I don't remember, but again, there's just really not much to look forward to going into this game with the Eagles. We haven't won a game at home all season. I don't see a reason why we should do that now by any means. One thing to look forward to, I guess, is Michael Parsons possibly coming back for this game.
But should he? I mean, that's another one That's like, I mean, I guess for a little, I mean, you can't not play, right? Like that's what people say. Oh, just sit them all, sit everybody. Let's just lose. You can't do that. I mean, he's getting paid. He's gonna play. And it's Micah Parsons. It would look bad on himself if he said, "Oh, it's fine. I just won't play." So obviously he's gonna play, but I mean, it just stinks because why put him at more risk and get hurt and I mean, I guess it doesn't matter if we don't pay him next year
I was gonna
or
say he's not
extend
getting
him.
paid. I mean, yeah, this is a contract year, so for him, I mean, he's damn sure trying to get out there. I would imagine, record be damned, but
True.
you know, it is what it is. I mean, I think he's probably gonna go. I think Deron Bland is actually supposed to start too, from what
Finally.
I heard.
Is
But
he?
yeah,
I
we'll
thought
see.
I heard that Bland wasn't going to be playing,
Okay, maybe so.
but I thought maybe
Tez is always right.
Diggs and CD are supposed to maybe be back. I don't think CD was going to ever miss. He said I think even the day after the game, obviously he was looking pretty beat up after getting I don't know landing on the shoulder and then getting hit a couple times after later on in the game in the same shoulder. But
I have some friends saying he is faking that. He dropped a pass. He had to make it look good. Oh, my shoulder. I don't think that's true personally. So don't hate on
yeah,
me, CD Lamb. I mean, nobody ever listens to our podcast yet, but if we ever get out there, CD Lamb, don't believe that. I know you're a tough guy. You're gonna push through. I know it's hurting. He looked good. He's like the one star that we has looked still pretty consistently good, right? You don't think, Ryan? Ryan made a face
No,
over here.
well, only because you said only. He's consistent, but Big Ferg dog, man, 7 for 71. He's doing his thing.
Yeah, yeah.
Ferguson
it,
is Mister
man,
Reliable for this
I mean,
team.
yeah, I just meant star. I guess I still just don't consider Fergie a star. You know what I mean? But I
I
guess
think
he
if
is.
he was on
He's
any of the big teams, I mean, if he was Mahomes
yeah.
tied in, he'd be balling out. If he was with even Jalen Hurts or C.J. Stroud or any other quarterback that's up there on a good team that's consistently winning, he could replace Mark Andrews in Baltimore. Like he's for sure a tight end that would
Yeah,
be a good fit on any team. So
agree.
but so I don't understand though why they go away from. I mean he caught probably a handful of passes in the first first half, and then it seemed like they just stopped throwing him the ball. And I don't.
They take him away. I mean, I'm not a good. I didn't rewatch it over and over. It's very hard to do lately to watch it more than once. But I mean,
Uh,
maybe they took him away. Maybe they said, "Hey, let's let CD
Stop
Lamb."
Ferguson.
I know that just doesn't sound right. That's why I say that's what
hilarious.
I mean by like star. But Fergie definitely, you're right. He has come up as a solid tight end. So that's agreed. Obviously, the kicker is our biggest star of them all. But
Yeah.
Yeah,
that's
I mean
just a
he did lead in receptions, which it seemed like a CD kind of game for sure. I guess
mhm.
I'd have to go back and look at the box score and see what his numbers were, but it felt like he would have been the reception leader or the yards leader that game, but it wasn't. It was Ferg.
Yeah.
And that's pretty consistent with how the season's been going. And I mean, as many we have wide receivers, but it doesn't ever seem like we have a solid even number two right now. And I don't know. So I guess we picked up this Mingo guy from Carolina, and I don't know if he wasn't good enough to play in Carolina, I don't know how he's good enough to play for us. But at the same time, I don't think Dalvin Cook's here next season, and
Oh,
Tolbert's
definitely not.
really not, living up to what his preseason hype was, and so our wide receiver group really is
Sucks.
open field right now. I mean, we got to find someone to step up, or we gotta have to find somebody in the draft because CD can't do it all by himself. I mean, you take CD away, and we have a tight end, So
Yeah, I was hoping it was gonna be Jalen
Yeah.
Brooks. He's a big body guy. Did good in the preseason training camp. I heard a lot of good things about him. It seemed like, but hasn't shown up. I think that one drop he had like in the first game of the season or something, maybe the second game this season was a big drop. And I feel like ever since then, like Dak's confidence in him was like maybe it was even an interception. I can't remember. I have to go back and look, but I remember it being like a statement, like a staple moment that was like, oh, Dak completely just
Yeah.
lost all confidence in this cat. I think it was like a fourth down or something big, and he was
And
like,
Dak
nope, can't
Dak shouldn't be
can't ever go
losing
back to that guy.
confidence in anybody.
I
Like
know.
his throws, it almost got better when Cooper Rush. Like now Cooper Rush ended up not throwing so well. Like a few passes later, but I was like, oh, he led him. Did you see that? He didn't have to reach behind. Like I think it was one to Fergie or something, and it was like actually in front of him. Oh wow, that's great. Like, dude, I'm so down on Dak. Like we're stuck, and there's nothing we could do. And I want to be on it. Like I want to be pro Dak. the you know the presidential election obviously just happened. I just want to be pro Dak right now, but I just can't. Like I'm almost happy he's down. We don't have to think about it anymore. I don't have to complain about it. We just throw these guys in. And honestly, I'm so back to who should we start between? Well, we already know what's going to happen, but I would be for Trey Lance because if he wins, awesome. Then we found like this diamond, which we know is not the case. But I think Cooper Rush, ironically, even though Dak technically is better, I feel like Cooper Rush gives us a decent chance of winning some games, and I'm not sure we want to do that at this point in the season.
Yeah, I
I mean,
mean, Trey was never like has the opportunity to be a diamond, even if he goes out there and puts
That's
up
decent.
4 touchdowns, 450 yards every game the rest of the way. He's not taking anybody's job. I mean, all he's going to do is be trade capital at best, which I'm fine with that. But before we leave Dak and his sorry self, like, how rich is it for him to say that we suck on the sideline?
He
How
said
rich is
we.
it
He
for him to
included
say that?
himself.
So
He
what,
included
man?
himself.
So what?
I'm okay
and
with it,
I'm glad that he
honestly.
got caught saying it because we
Me
do
too.
suck, and the players see it and think it, and I think some of maybe Cooper Rush and coming in could kind of settle this team down. I mean, it obviously lowers the expectations for any game going into the rest of the season as far as if we plan on winning or not. So maybe maybe it's what we need to just have a little less stress and expectation going into a game and just seeing Dak struggle, and I guess he can't get out of it. So I mean, Cooper Rush as a starter for the Cowboys is a 5-1 quarterback. So I'm not saying
Hmm.
that he's going to go in and turn this team around and make the playoffs by any means, but he's a solid pocket passer, and I think you're right, Brandon. When he came into the game, at least early on, he was hitting. It almost looked like he was throwing everything complete, and he had to try a little hard at the end and threw an interception or whatever. But I'm not going to not watch the game, but there's really not a whole lot of looking forward to anything, and it sucks because the first game is going to be against the Eagles at home, and
Yeah.
there's no team I want to lose against, worse than the Eagles. But that's what's going to happen. I mean, it's almost a guarantee. I think they're favored by a touchdown, but I don't see how it's not double digits. I mean, we're,
You know what's another weird thing about this whole thing, this whole Trey Lance deal? Like, obviously, you traded for the guy. For what? You're not going to play him. Why? This is the perfect opportunity to do so. But on top of that, you have the built-in excuse, which I hate, and I feel it coming. I'm sure we all feel it coming. Of well, we're going to keep McCarthy, we're going to keep the nucleus, this whole core together because of the injury. Wouldn't this be a reason to start him? To say one, this is why whatever he wasn't good enough. Now y'all see, but two, we weren't winning, so they're going to keep the job because of all the injuries. You know what I'm saying? Like none of it makes sense. None of it makes sense to not start him.
All in
yeah,
season things that the Cowboys do don't make sense. Like I'm sorry, but this receiver that we picked up, and what did we give up? A fourth or something?
fourth, an
Yeah,
important
like
fourth, I'm sure.
it doesn't make it's 2 years in a row of trades that not or I guess technically yes, I consider it a trade, but like it doesn't make sense. Like why get we are missing so many things. And yes, fourth round is down the list, but in NFL world, like fourth round isn't terrible. Like you can
No,
draft us another running back. Like that fourth round, I feel like is the perfect time to do that. Like
Yeah,
we
you
don't want to
might.
pay what's
You
his
could.
name, so
You could end up drafting a quarterback that makes the most in the league. In the fourth round, who sucks. You never
yeah.
know. Dak.
I just
I
don't.
mean,
I don't quite get it.
it would have been easier to swallow if we sold anything and got some picks, and we're like, okay, well, we got some picks to spare, and let's pick up a wide receiver where the wide receiver group doesn't really look very in sync right now, and we're kind of looking for the second or third guy right now. And I think Mingo does have a couple of years of control that we might have him. So if he's cheap and he might be, I mean,
That's
I
not
don't know
cheap,
if
is
it's
my
just an
point,
experiment.
though. Like, it's not
Well,
cheap, and then
the
on top
draft
of that,
capital isn't cheap, but if he's cheap,
you're doing it twice, 2 years in a row, and then like it just it's just kind of frustrating because other teams. I think what puts a damper in the whole thing is like other teams make deals like this, but they give up like nothing. They give up six and less, six around like what is the compensational pick or whatever it's called. They give up nothing. Like, and we're giving up fourth rounds for these random things.
for fourth or fifth wide receivers on a team that's worse than us. I guess they're worse than us. There's not a whole lot of teams worse than us, but Carolina's not doing anything, and they're probably going to have a draft pick ahead of us. So I don't know. I don't think it was a good call. Maybe I was trying to play devil's advocate to see. I mean, if
Shut it
there's any
down. Shut it
positive
down.
into it, but no, I agree. I thought we should have been selling a little bit. I don't know what we had to offer, but we didn't need to be picking anybody up. We just need to get through this season and draft. And my God, I hope we draft good. We need offensive line. We need running back. We need a lot.
We draft okay in the first round. In the first couple rounds, we do okay. I'm not too worried about that. Now, what do we need? We need probably a lot, but they do okay at that. That's why I'm saying, like, why are we giving up fourth rounders for these people that, like, I've already proven that they're not really that good. I get it. He's not on a good team, but I don't know. I don't have high hopes for that. I think it was completely not right. Completely wrong move.
That's it. I don't have much else to say about the Cowboys, man. I
Moving
mean,
on.
it's a 3:30 game. We'll just at least I'll be able to have some drinks and
Heck yeah.
I don't know.
Take the over.
Mhm.
All right, well, then let's move on to the Mavs. I'm going to save the Stars for you guys last. I've watched a few games, bits and pieces. It starts to get late. I have to get up super early, so it does start to get late, and I miss some of it. Chaz, I think you stay up for most of it, right?
I
Well, you're a
watch a lot of the
Stars guy,
games.
but-
Yeah. I watch them both. I'll have them on. If they're on at the same time, I'll just put one on the TV, one on the iPad or whatever. And I mean, I'm watching them enough to know what's going on. And
Yeah. Three, or what is it? 3, 4, 5, 5 and
3. It's just
Yeah.
like all of our wins are blowouts, and then our 3 losses are pretty close. I mean, you lost to the Pacers in what was a really, really good game, I thought. You lost to the Rockets, and then you lost to the Suns. I mean, I'll take it. Yeah, but much like what you're going to hear with the Stars, I mean, they're just off to a really good start. Doncic is doing his thing. I thought PJ Washington's been playing pretty good. His defense has been, at least on the glass, has been really good.
yeah.
Yeah, man. Mavs, baby.
He's guarding
mean-
big guys. He's injured right now, or the last game, so hopefully he can come back. But I agree. They look good, and I don't think we've reached a peak at all. Like that, Najee's getting a little more comfortable. They were talking big. Like I was watching social media, they were talking big about him. He only had 8 points, but he's just very active everywhere. Like offensively, on the breaks. Like he's not even scared to like. Sorry, Luka, I'm bringing this ball up. Like I'm leading the pack. So he's looked really good. Clay's still there, but I think we could use a little more Clay action, like offensive plays. You know what I mean? Not just one-on-one Luka, Kyrie type stuff, but. I mean, that's what got us to the finals, so.
yeah, I think
that.
PJ's kind of like you said, he is injured, and I don't think he's going to play tonight. I don't think he's supposed to. I think injury report was Lively, Cleva, and Washington probably to miss the game. And what's up with Maxey, man? Why can he
Seriously.
never? Dude, it's so frustrating, man. It's not
Oh,
like
dude.
we're counting on him to be the sixth man, but still, like, dude,
We need
stay
a big
healthy.
man. We have one big man hurt, and that's supposed to be. That's I was going to lead into that too. That's supposed to be a high point for us this year since we got the big guy, Gafford. Um, but now we have one down, and it's like crap.
Yeah.
Powell, the guy I wanted to get rid of, Powell and Kleba, I wanted to get
He's
rid
been
of, and
playing.
here comes Powell to save the day.
Yeah. Yeah,
Gosh.
but PJ he's been kind of cold on offense right before he got injured. So I think Marshall's been stepping in, and he's a solid defender too. Really, I mean,
Hmm.
and he's the sixth man as of now. I don't see anybody else really stepping up into that position. I think even damn, what's his name? They had a couple do not coaches' participations that just like held
Dinwiddie or
out.
something.
Yeah, no, the young kid too.
Oh.
Lively?
Jaden Hardy.
Hardy,
Hardy
yes.
Party. Yeah, that's right. Sorry.
Lively's
Yeah,
going to
Hardy.
play unless he's hurt, always.
No, he's not. Yeah, Lively's not playing, but this game. But I think Luka, after his slow start to the season, has really turned it around. I mean, in the last 4 games, I think he is averaging 30 points per game in the last 4 games, and I kind of agree that I would like to see a little bit more out of Clay. Like, I know there was going to be some learning curve and where do I fit in and whatever, but I was expecting, at this point maybe a little more, but he's still a solid starter. I mean,
Yeah, and he D's up when he needs to. I think he'll be just fine. Obviously, I want to see him go off, but I think he'll be just fine. I mean, it's hard. There's a lot of ball when you have Luka and Kyrie on the same team. He's not gonna, and he's not a creator. He's a catch and shoot guy for the most part. So he'll get his chance. He'll make some big shots. Get us to the playoffs. That's what I say. Get us to the playoffs. He'll knock down some shots in the corner, and it'll be just great. Just great. So I did have a question to ask you guys for this purposes. Do you think, why do you think we lost the championship last year? Right, we had some big games in the Western Conference, but when it came down to it, they just were outmatched. What do you think is the reasoning for that?
I think the moment was too big for him, to be completely honest. It's the way it seemed, anyways. Also, we know how Luka plays when he gets to chirp back at the fans and stuff, and he wasn't getting that, so he didn't have that kind of motivation that he feeds off of, especially when the media and the fans and there was just this narrative that he needed to kind of chill out a little bit, and I feel like he chilled out too much. And then when you're down on the scoreboard, you don't have any reason to really get up at that point. So it just seemed like, not putting this all on Luka or anything, but it just felt like the moment was too big, and they were just in their heads too much, whether it was Kyrie coming back to Boston or Luka paying attention to the refs and the fans. They just weren't in sync. They weren't playing loose enough. I'm not saying that if they ran it back that it would be any different. I actually think if they ran it back again this year, it might be the same, unfortunately.
Okay.
But I think it might have
gonna be my
just been a little
question.
bit too big for him.
I think if they're not playing Boston, they have a pretty good chance against anybody. But Boston's, I mean, they're almost a dynasty at this point. I mean, they're this season also playing extremely well already, and they're probably going to be right there again. So we're going to have to learn to beat teams like Boston if we want to actually get it done. But like you said, Luka, he didn't have it. He couldn't carry the team. And it was his first appearance in the finals, and there's
he was
just
a
a
little
lot
hurt,
of
if I'm not
pressure,
mistaken.
and at the end of the season, you know how he is with going to the ground every time, and the ground will beat you up over your season. And we just couldn't put it all together to beat Boston, and it's not. It's hard to do. I mean, that's a great team that you're going to have to face up against in the playoffs every year. So
Yeah.
Well, and it was just there was so much they blew their load too early, with the PJ stare down, with Anthony Edwards and that whole series, it was just there was just too much. By the time they got to
That was a fun
Boston,
series, though.
everything just kind
Hell
of
yeah.
shifted, and it was just too much for them. Man, they had already just been so mentally drained at that point that it was too big of a hill to overcome.
Yeah. And I think you're right too when you said if we were to face them right now, it might be the same. I'm hoping. So the reason I think so all those I think those are all great points. I'm trying to think of like the
They
reason
were.
schematically like why like defense, offense. Yes, beautiful points, beautiful points. I'm trying to think like was our offense terrible? So I think that's what you're saying is like Luca maybe kind of a little off. I think defensively was a big problem, and that's what I'm trying to look at now. Did we get better defensively? Like it seems like the only person we lost was what's his name? Right? What was his name? Skinny dude. Forget his name. Drawing a blank. But anyways, Najee, and then we picked up another guy with Najee. But I think defensively, hopefully those guys can start coming in, getting more comfortable. They're gonna like to fit in with Luka and them. It's gonna take time, but defensively is where hopefully they can step up. And so that's why I'm hoping by the end of the year we have that camaraderie, that way of playing defense. We know Luka's gonna be hit or miss on defense. Who can make up for it? Like PJ's already proven he can, but we need one other guy, like to just
Derek Jones was the guy.
Derek Jones. That's the one.
Yeah.
Yep. But we gained
We
two
didn't.
guys. We gained Wright and we gained Najee, and I think both of them defensively are similar to Jones. So that's why I'm hoping. Again, right now, I agree we lose, but I just hope by the end of the season we have this. We formed a bond, a way of playing defense, a way of playing offense, and just comes together. That's what I'm hoping.
Well,
Obviously,
and I think we were kind of not maybe not built on, but we were leaning on our interior defense, but we needed perimeter defense. And against Boston, like they made their
yeah.
money off that perimeter, and we had nothing
Hmm.
for it. So I don't know if Najee helps that or would change that, I guess, but we had nothing for that perimeter.
I think
Yeah.
Najee's a great defenseman, and I even think Clay's a good defenseman. And
Yes.
especially when we get to the playoffs, I think Clay, that's like his comfort zone. And I don't know, obviously, the last year or so with Golden State, it looked like he was kind of the odd man out. But, he's used to being there, and he's going to be a good person to kind of lean on. He's experienced, he's been there, he's done that. He can kind of talk to Luca and let him know kind of what it feels like to be in these positions. And I think we're better defensive team absolutely than we were last season. Because last season, I think we were just trying to outscore everybody, and that's the only way we were going to win and have Luca carry us. But and the way also that Kyrie's been playing this season so far, I
Dude.
is just it's he's undoubtedly the number two, and he's been playing amazing. And I
Dude,
think
his
he went
fourth
cold a
quarter
little bit. I
too.
don't remember the playoffs for Kyrie, but yeah, he's been. We don't really give him enough love on these podcasts in the past, but we gotta give it to him because he has been playing great.
Definitely. Yeah, Kyrie has been honestly. I feel like a lot, like Luca carries the load point wise, but I think Kyrie carries the load when it comes to like control. His buckets are big. I feel like when he scores, I'm like, yes, thank you, back on track. I did say earlier, I was saying right. I meant Grimes. We picked up Najee and we picked up Grimes, and Grimes doesn't get
Hmm.
a lot of minutes. I just think he is probably a decent defender also. But I agree. Clay Thompson will be a great in to Ryan's point on the perimeter. Like he's not going to lock down what's his name Brown or yeah Brown on the Celtics if we ever if we get back to that point. But he can at least another body to throw at these guys. Like like you said, I feel like we have it. Our defense on the lively Gafford side looks great. I love Gafford's defense, but perimeter wise, I think hopefully we're better. And if Kleba can ever get healthy, that and maybe knock down a three or two. He came in that one game and hit a three, and I was like, okay, maybe I'll like Kleba again. Nope, out. Next game, out. Gosh, it's
Yeah, I
ridiculous.
just I just feel like unfortunately the pieces that we have or Boston has don't matter too much. I think it's very much a monkey on our back, 49ers Cowboys kind of scenario where even
Yeah,
in
maybe.
2020 or whatever it was when we lost in the playoffs to them, where it was like we got them. It's just they're the Goliath to our David, and I just don't. I wouldn't feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, but that's the good. That's what you want. A challenging matchup. Maybe not for us as fans. We would love to just go through somebody, but as a NBA fan, you want a good matchup. And well, we weren't really. I don't feel like we were that good of a matchup for them last year. Hopefully, they just at least make it a challenge this year.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on. Let's get some Dallas Stars action. We're hitting the 30-minute mark, so we gotta at least hit up on some Stars. How are they doing?
They're still doing good. I mean, they went to Finland and lost both games, which was unfortunate. The NHL had the Global Series, and Stars were a participant of that, and they had to play the Panthers 2 games back to back, which was kind of weird. They were like early games, and they didn't really have a whole lot of time. I mean, Florida had to do the same thing we did, so I can't really say that it was jet lag, this or that. I mean, it was cool what they did, but I didn't even get to watch the game since it was during the day and I was at work. But they did end up losing both of the games in Finland, but came back and won a good game against the Blackhawks. So we swept kind of that 2-game series we had with them at home, which was good. I mean, so Stars are 8-4. They're third in the Central Division, and they play tonight, but they're playing Winnipeg, who I didn't even realize until this immediate second that they are 13-1 as a team, and they're leading the Central Division. I didn't know Winnipeg was doing that good this season. So I guess it's going to be a tough game. They're in Canada tonight, but they're playing pretty well.
Yeah, I want to say last time we had a podcast, it was going into that Boston game, and we were 5-2 or 4-2 or something at that time, and we knew that they had that 4-game stretch, 2 against Blackhawks, 2 against Florida, that was going to be tough. They took 2, lost 2, so I mean, Florida obviously won the Stanley Cup last year. I mean, they're obviously the same team for the most part, so we knew those were
Yeah,
going to
they're
be
good.
tough, and then with the travel on top of that, we knew it was going to be tough, but no reason for any kind of fear or worry there. Stars are, I think they're definitely going to get back to the playoffs and make another deep push.
Isn't it
I
funny
don't
how
see why they don't.
these sorry, isn't it funny how like so I noticed too going back to basketball for just 0.5 seconds,
Gosh,
but you
Brandon,
said
let it go.
you said something about another team was like 8-1 or something. I was looking and the Cleveland Cavaliers are like 9-1. And so Boston isn't even in first place right now over there. It's
Good. Let's
early,
play.
but
Let's play Cleveland. I'll root for
Yeah,
let's
we'll
that
take
for
take
sure.
Cleveland. Oh,
Cleveland.
yeah, there we go.
Anyway, continue on. Continue on. I just want to point that out. It's just weird how these
Yeah.
like you don't even notice. It's like the other side of the world. You're like, oh, hey, wait a second. Cleveland is good. Wait a second. These random hockey teams. There's a lot of hockey teams. So it's third in the West, I'm assuming West, right? Dallas,
Third in the
what division are
Central
we in?
Division.
Central.
Yeah.
Is
So,
that still decent? Is that still a playoff spot? I know it's super early, but I was looking at standings.
Yeah,
There's
for
just a
sure.
lot of
oh,
hockey
yeah,
teams.
absolutely. I think there's eight teams in the Central Division, so we're just a game behind Minnesota. We are like 4 points behind them though, but I think we have less games because we took that trip and we missed a lot of time. But the Stars are going to be one of those teams where I feel like you really don't really have to worry about it up until you get to the playoffs. I mean, I don't want to say we're a shoe-in, but I'd like to think that. And we have a good, solid team. We got good veterans. Jamie Benn's been stepping up as a captain recently. Still not scoring a whole lot of goals, but making his presence known. I'm really every time that I'm watching the game, I'm keeping my eye on Sagan, and I know he's been here for a while, and he's not the youngest player, and he's not in his prime anymore, but he's really he's having a great season. Short of him and Duchesne, the 2 veterans that have really been stepping up, and more. Duchesne's leading in 2 different categories, I think, for the team right now, in goals and points. But Sagan's only one goal behind Duchesne and for the team most for the team, but he's played 4 less games because he was injured. So they're both having outstanding seasons so far, and our young players, Stanky and Hance and all those other regular names. It's just there's nothing to worry about. I can calmly, if I miss a Stars game here and there, I can just safely feel like they can split any series or sweep any series. And we're definitely not missing playoffs this season.
Yep,
Yeah.
I agree. Our speed's going to take us. I like the power play. Our special teams is doing good. Like you said, Matt Duchesne's still our leader on goal scoring. So yeah, nothing to fret about when it comes to these Stars.
Any chance of upgrading this year, though? Like, any trade rumors y'all hearing about, or?
Ooh, I'm out on that. I don't know.
Old.
No, I really don't know, and I don't even really know when that time period is. And hockey's so different with even when they're drafting players, they don't really play for a few years, and it's just kind of it's kind of hard to follow all that. But I think Matt Dumba is the only guy that we picked up, and he's been playing well. I mean, like I said, he's just that kind of roughneck defender that you brought in and hoping it would give you a little bit of more aggressiveness on the defensive end. But I would just leave the team exactly how it is, and as long as Ottinger stays healthy, we're a shoo-in.
Bet. Let's do it. Wish I could say that for the Mavs. Wish I could say that for the Cowboys. Bum, bum, bum. Well, all right. Anything else y'all want to touch up on? We'll wrap this sucker up.
I think I'm good. I mean, I'm looking forward to watching this Mavericks Suns games. I hope we can beat the Suns a game anytime this season would be great. We lost the first game, but they're still 7-1. They're a hard team to play. But it's always fun playing the Suns. And I think the last time we talked about the Mavs, they were playing the Suns the next day or that same day, and they lost. But we turned it around. We beat them by, let's see, I'm saying 6 points.
Oh.
I like it.
I think it's going to be pretty difficult without PJ out there. But
again, PJ has not really been playing offense very well, though.
Yeah.
We're not really missing any scoring.
I think it's his defense, though, that ties it together. But we'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. Well, that'll about wrap it up for us at the Dallas Parlay. You got your boy Ryan over there. We got Chaz. It's your boy Brandon right here. We'll holler at y'all next week. Probably, hopefully, sooner in the week with this Dallas Cowboys win. Right?
Yeah, we'll definitely see you next week for sure.
All right. To be continued. All right, guys. We'll holler at y'all next week. Dallas Parlay, we're here.
Later.
R.I.P. Miles.